It's been a while since I've done another YouTube video. I've needed a good 6 months off, and I apologise for being out of the loop. Where does a man go when he just goes quiet? I needed to just tap out for a while. I didn't realise it at the time. Just on reflection, I needed to go quiet. I didn't realise energetically in my game, the advice I give out is the advice I need to hear, and I wasn't hearing that advice for myself. And I tapped out, went quiet. And there hasn't been much posting for the last 6 months. I think November last year was the last post. I want to tell you honestly where I went and what I was needing. Rather than just leave it out there and not leave it out there hanging, because I think there's something in it that's actually useful beyond just an explanation for my absence. I had tapped out. The truth of it, it felt like I was doing 3 jobs, and I hadn't really admitted to myself until I sat down to make this video. There was the clinical work of sitting with men 5 days a week, which is what I love. There's the building of this channel, the website behind it, and then there's life, the important side of it, the kind that still needs you, whether you've got anything left in the tank to give or not. It's expected, and so it should be. It's something always has to give, always. We've only got so much energy in our tank each day. And when you're running on 3 things at once, something gives. And for a while now, I think this channel was the thing quietly taking my energy. Every time I sat down to plan a video, edited on weekends, it became a heavy 3rd job, affecting my presence at home and in my work. And also, importantly, presence to myself. Just a tiredness that was draining without fully being aware of it. It was a classic. So I stepped back, not from my work, just from this. I stopped even after buying lights, etc. I'd stalled big time. Bought the better lights to make things a bit better in here. It was a very amateurish show. It's in the first 90 videos. But I needed to stop. I got the lights, got all the gear, and then just tapped out. When I first started doing this channel, I did what you're told to do. What every guru on the internet will tell you to do. Post twice a week, get the algorithm up. I followed that advice dutifully like a good student, because that's what you do when someone hands you a system and says, this is how it's done. Very studious. I understand the logic, the algorithm rewards consistency, but something along the way I noticed was shaping what I said around what might perform rather than was actually needed saying. I got it backwards. So this time that's gone. It's not about the algorithm. It isn't about pumping them out. It's more about the content, and honestly, I don't care if only one man watches a video. If it lands for him, the message that the video is given has done its job. And that's important. Really important. Yeah, look, the ego would love the likes and the hits and the subscribers, but that's not honestly what this is about at all. I want the message to come across. I really want the information to hit home to a guy, to be able to help him improve his life with himself, his life with his partner, his life with his children, his life in his career, his work. Now, in my break, underneath the break, if I'm honest with you, there was a fatigue that I hadn't fully named yet, even to myself. Yeah, I was tired. But here's the part I think a lot of us men do, and I did it too. I didn't just feel tired, I carried guilt and shame about being tired. Part of me called it failing, called it giving up. You know what we men do to ourselves. Yeah, we love to give ourselves a good kicking if we're not good enough, rah, rah, rah. And look, I want to say that plainly, because if someone who spent 30 years helping men work exactly through this kind of shame can still turn around and do it to myself, then I bet you at least a few of you watching this will know precisely what I'm talking about. You know, the shame and blame we do of ourselves, that we're highly critical of ourselves, and it's, we just never let up. And I guess I'm in the same boat. I should have a bit more awareness than that, but you know, maybe perhaps what's happened is I've defaulted back into old patterns. It's the same voice I hear from men that sit across me every week. You know, here we are, bang. I was aiming, you know, I don't know what I was aiming for. I was aiming to try and get the message across. Now, what the 6 months, rather than carry the guilt and the shame, I had to let that go and recognise what I needed to be doing was taking self-care, and doing 3 jobs just was not working. And here I was, forgetting every word of my own advice. I wasn't taking self-care. I talked to men about the need for self-care for a living. I've probably said those words, you need to look after yourself, 1,000 times in the room. And somehow I'd quietly stopped applying a single word of that to myself. Real, red alert, red alert. Oh, I can't believe I let that slide for so long. For God's sake, too much pride in there perhaps, probably, or an old default mechanism, the all or nothing. There's a particular kind of humbling in recognising your own advice, staring back at you and realising you're the one who actually needs to hear it, Mark. And yes, I did hear it. So a little reluctantly, I heeded it. I took a break. The break wasn't optional, it was imperative to my own self-care. And in that recharge, something new was born. And I'm really proud of what that was. Well, it's been reborn as the Spirit Warrior, men's inner health. Going forward, these videos are a major part of that. I'll be focusing on all 4 aspects of our psyche: the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. Spirit Warrior, men's inner health. We men are generally great at the first 2. We can push the body, we can think our way through almost anything. Where we consistently fall short is learning to actually process and be present to our emotional and spiritual sides, or our spiritual self. You know, that deep inner essence of self. Now, may I ask a question? What would you be present for? What would you be present within yourself for? What would you do for your partner, your kids, or for the blokes you call mates? I don't want to get too academic on here, and as you gathered from some of the other ones, there's plenty of psychology behind why we men default the way we do. The nervous system, the old conditioning, all of it real. But I don't want to go into the fancy stuff right now. I just want to keep this simple. It's within that spiritual side where the essence of our spirit warrior actually lives. When we're fully there, properly present to all four, what a gift. What a beautiful gift to yourself first. And then watch it flow onto everyone around you. It's incredible. You know, that essence. Tune into that deep inner essence within yourself. You know, when guys come into this room and they want the strategies on how to change or how to fix it, I'm going to pause there. If we stop, listen to our hearts, listen to the inner wisdom in there. That inner wisdom has the strategies. It's just how do we keep listening to it no matter what's going on in our everyday world. Yeah, we tend to overthink, overanalyze, and we let all those thousands of things on the list take over and overwhelm the deep essence of your strategy. This is what this channel is going to be about. Is, yeah, we're good at the thinking and we're good at, you know, the physical and the mental. Let's start working deeply on the emotional and the spiritual. And there's a place to start now at spiritwarrior.au, Men's Inner Health. And yes, there ain't going to be 2 videos a week. There might be 1 a week, or there might be 1 a fortnight. It'll be not a go slow process, but it'll be balanced. I needed to heed the advice that I give, and I did, and something's changed. Be gentle.